Matt Sailing Kid here, and I would like to introduce you to my channel. So it's a brand new channel. I just made it. And it's all about sailing. I've had this channel for a while, but I've just started, kind of getting into actually video making, and I changed up the name, and now it's That Sailing Kid. So or That Sailor Kid. So today, first lesson. We have very many lessons, or I'm gonna do very many lessons, and maybe in the future even do a few GoPro videos, if I decide to. But for now, we're just gonna do lessons. The GoPro videos probably wouldn't be till next April, or later in the spring. Yeah, but maybe October, but most likely April. So yeah. Today, of course, as I've already said, learning about what most sail. This is about sailing dinghies, not big yachts. But today we're learning about what different parts of your boat are called and what they are, how they function. So I forgot to do one thing, so I'm just gonna put for one label. These blue ones are everywhere, so I kind of ran out of room. Let's get the red one over that. Okay, let's get started then. So, there are very different boats have varying things, varying types of these, but every single sailing dinghy has all of these, except for a jib. Some of them don't have that. And a tiller extension. So, let's get started. Alright, so first off, we have what you would call your foils. So, your foils are what go down into the water, and what you really have to worry about when you go into shallow water. You have to pull up your foils, or stay out of shallow water. So once you get in the water deep enough, you put your foils in to start so you can sail. Without your foils, you can't sail. One of your foils is your rudder, and that steers your boat. The other foil is your centerboard or daggerboard. The difference between a centerboard and a daggerboard is a daggerboard you put into a slot, and you can take it out of the boat, and a centerboard always stays in the boat, and you can't take it out. So that's the main difference. But every boat has either one of those two. So right here is your centerboard or daggerboard. I'll just call it a daggerboard because it looks more like one of those. By the way, I'm using paintbrush for this. Right here, so that's your daggerboard. Up here is your rudder. See? So those are your two foils. As I said, they're extremely important. Every boat has one, or has them, and yeah. So just a quick thing about sailing. Sailing is amazing, really. It's just so much fun. It's very good for you. It gives you a lot of exercise, and if you're doing it in summer, you get a very nice tan. But besides that, it's just very good for you. It's so much fun. There's times when you're doing something called hiking, which is putting your feet under these straps and hanging off the side of the boat, and you're just going like 20 miles per hour, and you're flying across whatever lake you're in or ocean you're in, and you just like absolutely love sailing at that point. But yeah. So moving on, those are your foils, right? Now we are going to look at your sails. So you have 2 sails on most boats. Sometimes you have 3. That's a little more advanced. Sometimes you have what's called a spinnaker, which is basically a big third sail that you deploy going downwind. And I'll talk about upwind, downwind in some of my next videos, and maybe some of my videos about sail positioning and sail positions and proper sail trim. There's a whole bunch of stuff to learn, and I'm going to teach it all to you if you subscribe, and if you like my videos, that will really help me out. So, let's get started. So, here, see, right here is your mainsail. Oh, I forgot for the thing. A minute. Keep on forgetting stuff to draw on. I'm also running out of room. Alright, so, anyway. Back to what I was saying. If, this... wait a minute. I have to change the line where the mainsail is. So, that big thing right here, that's your mainsail. It's every boat has a mainsail. Every single boat in the world, I'll tell you that. Besides, every single sailboat in the world has a mainsail. You'll never find a sailboat without a mainsail. It's just all sailboats have it. So, yes, that is your. For short, people call it main. So that's your main. And then over here is your second sail. Most sailing dinghies have one. Almost all yachts have one. Yeah, pretty much every yacht has one. Catamarans have one. Lots of sail. Pretty much every sailboat over the size of an opti has one, except for single-handed boats such as lasers. And I know this is all complicated, and sorry about that, but you'll learn about this all later. Just subscribe and like the video. That helps me out a lot, and knows that you guys are watching. Lets me know that you guys are watching. So yeah. Oh, so this is your jib, right? So put that your jib. Place right here. It's your jib. Alright, so now now we move on to parts of your boat that are always attached. Yeah, that is I'm not trying to say. There's an exception. One of these is always attached, but there's nothing else that could go on. And that one is your painter. So you know what? I have no idea why they call it a painter, but they do. It's what you use to tie on to dock. It's very simple. It's just a rope. That's really all it is. And you just tie it on to dock when you're done, and you start de-rigging. So that's your painter line. Painter line, whatever. And then now moving on to the things that are almost always attached to your boat until you take it out for the winter. Or if you live in a warm spot, always attached to your boat. So right here, well, not right there, right here, this big metal pole sticking up in the middle of the boat, that's what you would call your mast. So, yeah. Your mast is what holds your main sail up and holds your jib up. You attach all your sails to your mast. Getting a little more detailed here, but you also have shrouds that keep your mast down, which are basically just metal wires that run from up here at the top of the mast down to the bottom of down to the top of the hull. Speaking of the hull, the next thing is the hull. So, yep, your hull is literally your boat, so it's always on your boat. It's not always on there, just you get what I mean. So yeah, that's your hull, this big thing that moves through the water, keeps you afloat. And then you also have this big metal pole that your mainsail is attached to, but it's also attached to the mast. You call that your boom. It's basically just a metal pole that you control, which then controls your sail, your mainsail, and that has to do with sail trim, which I'll teach you in a later video. So that is your boom. Ching. Alright, awesome. And what else? Oh, yes. Now we move on to sheets and lines that have to do with the boom, I guess. So I forgot another thing. I can't believe how much stuff I'm forgetting today. Excuse the noise in the background. Oopsies. Don't like that. Yeah, sorry for the noise in the background. It's kind of annoying, I'm guessing. And we're also gonna, the main sheet somewhere else, so it's easier to read. Oh, we have space to put it. So, main sheet. This thing right here with the 3 lines going up and down, that's your main sheet. That's what you use to control your boom, which then controls your sail. And your main sheet is, the way that I like to describe it, I would describe it as your gas pedal. So when you pull it in, you go faster, and when you let it out, you slow down, which is very true. Another thing that you use your main sheet for, besides as your gas pedal, is if you're in a high wind situation, and you're sailing along, and you feel yourself, what I call dumping, which is when your mast goes into the water. That's what a dump is. And to right your boat after a dump, you climb onto your dagger board, which will be sideways in the water, and you pull up your boat. So, when you feel like you're about to dump, you let out your main sheet, and you'll stop heeling because the heeling is when you tip. You'll stop heeling because of the wind pushing you over. So yep, that's your main sheet. It's all color coded. Now this is your boom vang. See, is this thing right here, the big black thing that attaches to the mast and the boom? That's your boom vang. It holds down your boom so your boom doesn't go up and down when you get hit by waves and stuff. So that is your boom vang place. Boom vang. It's kind of a long word. Let's try putting it down here and then put the arrow. My goodness, I need to give myself some more space next time. That's your boom vang. Last thing is your jib sheets. You can't really see them, but it's like your main sheet. And you know how I was talking about the jib earlier? This is what controls your jib. So it's basically your gas pedal for the jib. And the jib should always be at the same position that the main is on. And that's basically how you, that gives you more speed in the water. Excuse me. Yeah. So now we're going to, yeah, that is your jib sheets. Those are your jib sheets. Base. Alright, there you go. That's pretty much all this. Oh, I forgot something. Wow. Silly me. Just a sec. I'm just gonna do that so I get the right color of text. Alright, so yes. So this thing, which is attached to your rudder, it's just it looks bigger than the black line on the hull. That is your tiller. So your tiller is just basically a metal pole that sticks to your rudder, and you push it. Okay, for steering and sailing, it's weird. You push the tiller away from where you want to go. So if you want to turn your left, you push your tiller right. And then, yeah, so that's your tiller, not to be confused with your tiller extension. That's definitely something that you don't want to confuse, or else it will start going backwards, or not going backwards, turning the wrong way. So, now, and then there's your tiller extension. It's this big metal pole sticking up. It makes it easier to control, especially when you're hiking. As I said before, hiking is when you're hanging out of the boat. Sorry if this video is a little long, but they'll get more exciting as I go. That is your tiller extension. There you have it. That's pretty much what a normal sailing dinghy will look like. Yeah, there's not much else. So let's go over it one last time. Alright, so your rudder and your daggerboard are your foils. Those are labeled in green. The things that are almost always attached to your boat are your boom, your hull, your mast, and your painter. Those those four are almost always attached to your boat. Um, especially if you live in a warmer area. Then you have your main, which is your mainsail. You have your jib, which is your second sail. It's much smaller than the main. You have your tiller, which is attached to your rudder. Your tiller extensions, which is attached to your tiller, and those are all for steering. You have your jib sheets, which control your jib, your main sheet, which controls your main, and your boom vang, which makes sure your boom doesn't fly up and down when you get hit by waves. And that is it. So thank you guys for watching. Please click the like button, subscribe. I love making these videos, and I'll make many more. They'll get very exciting. I'm gonna make montages, of sailing and some awesome moments. But until then, I'm basically going to do sailing theory, tips on sailing, tips on racing, how to accelerate, how to stop, just tons of stuff. That is a very beginner lesson. I hope you learned something, and have a nice day. Thanks. Bye.